ሃይ ሰላማችሁ ይብዛ። አስፈሽ ነኝ ከኢትዮ ኢኮኖሚክስ ስኩል። ዛሬ ደግሞ ሞደርን ቲዮሪ ኦፍ ማኒ ዲማንድ ይዤ ቀርቤያለሁ። እያነበባችሁ እየበረታችሁ እንደሆነ ተስፋ አደርጋለሁ። አሁንም በርቱ። ይህንን ዩቲዩብ ሰብስክራይብ፣ ላይክ፣ ሼር ማድረጋችሁን እርግጠኛዎች ይሁን። እንጀምር። ኦኬ 3.5 ሞደርን ቲዮሪ ኦፍ ማኒ ዲማንድ። ባክግራውንዱን ካየን ክላሲካል ኢኮኖሚስት ላይክ ፊሸር ቪውድ money demand mainly as function of transaction and proportional to income አይደለ? ክላሲካል ኢኮኖሚስቶችን ካየን እነ ፊሸር ምንድነው ያሉት? money demand mainly as function of transaction and proportional to income። ገንዘብ የሚፈለገው ለትራንሳክሽን ፐርፐዝ ነው፣ ይህም ደግሞ ከኢንከም ጋር ፕሮፖርሽናል ነው ብለው አወርተዋል። ከዛ በኋላ ኬኔዝ መጣና ምን አለ? ኬኔዝ አድድ ሞቲቭ transaction, precautionary and speculative and emphasized the role of the interest rate። ከዛ ከነዚህ መጣና ምን አለ? እነዚህ ገንዘብ የሚፈለግበት ለዚህ ለትራንሳክሽን ፐርፐዝ ብቻ ሳይሆን ትራንሳክሽንስ ፕሪኮሽነር እና ስፔኩሌቲቭ ፐርፐዝ ነው ብሎ እነዚህ ሁለቱን ጨመረ። ፕሪኮሽነር እና ስፔኩሌቲቭ ጨመረና ኢምፓሳይዝ ዘ ሮል ኦፍ ኢንተረስት ሬት። ያ ክላሲካሎቹ ከክላሲካል ደግሞ ፊሸር ኢንተረስት ሬት ችግር አያመጣም አፌክት አያደርግም ያለውን ይሄ ሰውዬ ደግሞ ኢንተረስት ሬትም አፌክት ያደርጋል ብሎ ይሄን ሐሳብ ጨመረ። but Keynes theory was criticized for being too simplified። ኬይንስ የተወቀሰበት ሐሳብ ደግሞ ምንድነው? only two assets or money and bond were considered። እነዚህ ሁለት አሴቶችን ብቻ ኮንሲደር በማድረጉ ተወቅሷል። ሌላ ደግሞ it assumed people either hold all money or all bond or no diversification። ደግሞ ኦል ማኔ ወይም ቦንድ ወይ ሁሉንም በቦንድ ወይ ሁሉንም በማኔ መልክ መያዝ አለባቸው ብሎ ዳይቨርሲፋይ አለማድረጉ በዚህ ምክንያት ደግሞ ተወቅሷል። ሁለተኛ ሌላ ደግሞ ኤክስፔክቴሽን ኤንድ ሪስክ ዌር ትሪትድ አንሪያሊስቲካሊ እና በዚህ ምክንያት በሶስተኛ ሪስክ እና ኤክስፔክቴሽን ላይ ትሪትድ አንሪያሊስቲካሊ በመሆኑ ተወቅሷል። ሶ ኮር አይዲያ ኦፍ ዘ ሞደርን ቲዮሪ ካየን ደግሞ እነዛ ላይ ያሉት እነዚህ ኬኔዝ እና ክላሲካል ፊሸር እንደዚህ ካየን ሶ አሁን የመጣው ይሄ ኮር አይዲያ ኦፍ ዘ ሞደርን ቲዮሪ ምንድነው የሚለው ካለን The modern theory treats money demand as part of portfolio management. Individuals and firms allocate their wealth among multiple assets, not just money and bond. Okay? ያኞቹ እንዳሉት አሁን easy individual and firm allocate their wealth not only money and bond። በዚህ ሁለት ነገር ላይ ብቻ ሳይሆን allocate የሚያደርገው አንድ ሰው ዌልዙን አሎኬት የሚያደርገው ማኔ እና ቦንድ ላይ ብቻ ሳይሆን among multiple assets ነው ብሎ ይጀምራል። In short, modern money demand theory integrate income, interest rate, wealth, risk and portfolio diversification, making it more realistic and empirically robust than Keynes' original liquidity preference theory. Let's continue from Milton. In 1956, Milton Friedman developed a theory of the demand for money is his famous book, The Quantity Theory of Money, or Restatement. በ1956 ሚልተን ፍሬድማን The Quantity Theory of Money Restatement በሚል ርዕስ በታዋቂው መጽሐፍ ውስጥ የገንዘብ ፍላጎትን በተመለከተ ንድፈ ሐሳብ አሰፍሯል። Like those before him, or Keynes and the classical Cambridge economist, Friedman pursued with the question of why people choose to hold money። ከቀደምቶቹ ኬይንዝ እና ክላሲካል የካምብሪጅ ኢኮኖሚስቶች ጋር በሚመሳሰል መልኩ ፍሬድማን ግለሰቦች ለምን ገንዘብ ለማቆየት እንደሚወስኑ፣ ለምን ማኔን መያዝ እንደሚፈልጉ እሱም ሐሳቡን አሰፍሯል። Instead of analyzing the specific motive for holding money, as did Keynes, Friedman simply stated that the demand for money must be influenced by some factor that influence the demand for any asset. Friedman in the Keynes ገንዘብ ለማቆየት ልዩ ምክንያቶች ከመመርመር ይልቅ ለምን ሰዎች ገንዘቡን እንደሚፈልጉ ወደ ምርመራው ወደ ዲቴሉ ከመግባት ይልቅ የገንዘብ ፍላጎት ራሱ በተለያዩ ምክንያቶች ተጽዕኖ እንደሚደርስበት ገልጿል። ምን ማለት ነው? ፍሬድማን እንደ ኬንያን ለምንድነው why people want to hold money ብለው ምንድነው ያሉት? for precautionary, for transaction, for speculative ምናምን አይደለ ያሉት። ይሄ ደግሞ እንደዛ ከማለቱ ይልቅ የገንዘብ ፍላጎት ራሱ በተለያዩ ምክንያቶች ተጽዕኖ እንደሚደርስበት ገልጿል። instead of why do people hold money Keynes motive based approach Friedman asked what determined the demand for money as an asset. Why do people hold money ከማለቱ ይልቅ what determined the demand for money demand for money determine የሚያደርገው ነገር ምንድነው በሚለው ላይ ነው ፎከስ ያደረገው ማለት ነው። Okay, therefore Friedman applied the theory of asset demand to money. ስለዚህ ፍሬድማን የንብረት ፍላጎትን ንድፈ ሐሳብ በገንዘብ ላይ ተግባራዊ አድርጓል ማለት ነው። The theory of asset demand indicates that the demand for money should be a function of the resource available to the individual, or that is their wealth, and the expected return on the other asset relative to expected return on money. የንብረት ፍላጎት ጽንሰ ሐሳብ እንደሚያመለክተው የገንዘብ ፍላጎት function of the resource and the expected return now ይለናል። What does mean it? Theory of asset demand applied to money ካየን the theory of asset demand say that people allocate their wealth among different assets based on total resource or wealth or permanent income. The larger an individual wealth, the more they can allocate to all assets including money. So money demand rise with wealth. Expected return on asset ካየን ደግሞ money usually has zero or low return but safe and liquid. So bond ከያዘን ደግሞ positive return አለው but carry price risk if rates change. Stock ካየን ደግሞ potential for higher return but risk. Goods or real estate can hold value but subject to depreciation or inflation. So if the expected return on a bond or a stock rises relative to money, people hold less money. In short, the asset demand theory say money is just one of the many assets and the demand for it depend on how much wealth people have and how attractive money is compared to alternative assets. So ገንዘብ ከብዙ አሴት አንዱ አሴት ነው። The demand for it depend on how much wealth people have. ስለዚህ የገንዘብ ፍላጎት ደግሞ ዲፔንድ የሚሆነው ምን ያህል ሀብት አለ በሚለው ላይና how attractive money compared to alternative assets. ገንዘብ ከሌሎች ንብረቶች ጋር ሲነጻጸር ሪተርን በማስገኘቱ አንፃር ምን ያህል ማራኪ ነው በሚለው ላይ ነው ይለናል። ገባችሁ? So the asset demand theory say money is just one of many assets and the demand for it depend on this one. ምን ያህል ሀብት አለ በሚለው ላይና how attractive money compared to alternative assets. ገንዘብ ከሌሎች ንብረቶች ጋር ሲነጻጸር ሪተርኑን ገቢውን በማስገኘት አንፃር ጥቅሙን ከማምጣት አንፃር ምን ያህል ማራኪ ነው በሚለው ላይ ነው። Okay, modern money demand approach maintain that wealth can be held in 5 broad forms. That is money, bond, equity, physical equity and human wealth. Modern money demand approach maintain that wealth can be held in 5 broad form. በአምስት ፎርም ዌልዝ መያዝ እንደሚቻል ይነግረናል ሞደርን ማኒ ዲማንድ። እሱንም በማኒ ፎርም፣ በቦንድ ፎርም፣ በኢኩዊቲ፣ በፊዚካል ኢኩዊቲ and human wealth. Each of these has distinctive characters and each offers some return in money or in kind. Okay, so money may yield return in the form of money. For example, interest on deposit. Okay, but it is assumed that money yield its return solely due to convenience and security. Return on money ካየን አሁን እንዳነበብኩት ሐሳብ money doesn't typically yield direct market return or expect when deposit earn interest. ገንዘብ ብዙ ጊዜ ቀጥተኛ የማርኬት ሪተርን አያመጣም ኦር ተቀማጪ ገንዘብ ወለድ ካላስገኘ በስተቀር ማለት ነው። ኦኬ ሰማችሁኝ? ገንዘብ ብዙ ጊዜ ቀጥተኛ የማርኬት ሪተርን አያመጣም ምን ካልሆነ በስተቀር ተቀማጪ ገንዘብ ወለድን ካላስገኘ በስተቀር ማለት ነው። Instead, its return comes from liquidity, service, or convenience in transactions and security or risk-free store of nominally value. Okay, so money doesn't typically yield direct market return except when deposit earn interest. Instead, its return comes from liquidity, service, or convenience in transaction and security or risk-free store nominally value ማለት ነው። So the quantum of this return in really term per nominal unit of money clearly depends upon the volume of goods that unit corresponds to or on the general price level which may be designated as price. ምን ማለት ነው? Really and nominal return on money, suppose you hold 1 unit of money, the nominal yield is usually 0 or very low unless interest bearing deposits are included. Okay, but the really return depend on change in the price level or P. Okay, if price fall, money appreciate and represent a capital gain in really term which must be added to nominal yield, and if price rises the really capital losses must be deducted from the nominal yield. ምን ማለት ነው? capital gain or loss from price change. If price fall or deflation, the really value of money appreciate. This lead holding money bring capital gain. If price is rise or inflation ይመጣል በዚህ ጊዜ the really value of money depreciate ይሆናል. So this lead holding money cases capital loss. Okay, this really yield of money equals to nominal yield or liquidity over security plus or minus capital gain or loss from change in price. So in the modern asset demand framework, money has really rate of return just like bonds or stocks. It's just that its return comes largely from liquidity, service and price level movement rather than explicit interest ማለት ነው። So the second one is how bond fit into the modern theory of asset demand for money. Let us carefully unpack it. Bonds are those assets which yield a perpetual income stream of constant nominal amount. ቦንዶች በቋሚ ቀጣይነት ያለው ገቢ የሚሰጡ ንብረቶች ናቸው። Yes, bonds as asset. Bonds are fixed income security that yield constant nominal income stream or coupon payment. Unlike money, bond carry market risk because their price fluctuates with changes in the market rate of interest. እንደ ገንዘብ አይደለም። ቦንድ ላይ ምን አለ? ሪስክ አለ። ፕራይስ ፍላክቹዌት ሲያደርግ ሪስክም እየጨመረ ይሄዳል ማለት ነው። ኦኬ bonds yield can be two types, the annual income and any change in the price of bond over time. አንደኛ the annual income and ሁለተኛ ደግሞ any change in the price of bond over time. Return which can be positive as well as negative. return ደግሞ ፖዚቲቭም ኔጌቲቭም ሊሆን ይችላል። ምን ማለት ነው? the total nominal return on bond has two parts እና ከዚህ አንደኛ the annual income ነው። ይሄ ማለት current yield or coupon income ማለት ነው። if bond pay fixed interest it is annual income or the coupon rate or interest yield ይባላል። any change in price of bond over time ይህ ደግሞ capital gain or loss or price change ይባላል። bond price move inversely with interest rate በዚህ ጊዜ if interest rate fall bonds price rise ይሆናል በዛ ጊዜ capital gain ይሆናል። if interest rate rise the bond price fall ይሆናል በዛ ጊዜ capital ሎዝ ማለት ነው። this is the risk component of holding bond ማለት ነው። so if the rate of interest on the bond is the nominal rate of return can be approximated by RB or 1 over RB. DRB over DT measures the rate of capital appreciation owing to change in the rate of interest rate. T stands for time. ይህ የሚያሳየው formally expression of nominal return on bond. The nominal return on bond can be approximated as RB equals to RB plus 1 over RB time DR over DT, where RB ማለት interest rate or coupon yield on the bond, DRB over DT ማለት change in the rate of interest rate over time, 1 over RB time DRB over D ማለት ደግሞ rate of capital appreciation or depreciation ማለት ነው። so if DRB less than 0, interest rate falling, at this time positive capital gain አለ ማለት ነው። so if DRB greater than 0, interest rate rising ይሆናል። በዛ ጊዜ negative capital return or loss ይገጥማል ማለት ነው። so people compare the expected return on bond with the return on money. If bond are expected to lose value or rising rate, the capital loss or people prefer to hold money. If bond are expected to gain value or falling rate, this leads capital gain or people shift wealth into bond. So this is the speculative demand for money in Keynes theory, but in the modern framework it's generalized into asset portfolio choice. So in short, bond yield fixed annual income plus or minus capital gain or loss from changing interest rate. This risk return trade-off centrally to explaining why people hold mix of money and bonds in their wealth portfolio. ሶስተኛ ደግሞ equity are asset which yield perpetually income stream of constant real amount. Equity or share or stock represent ownership in firm. They yield perpetually income stream of constant real amount or dividend are expected to maintain purchasing power over time. Unlike bond, which promise fixed nominal payment, equity are tied to the real economy. The nominal rate of return on equity can be approximated by RE plus 1 over P or DP over DT minus RE over DRE over DT. So in short, equity differ from money and bond because they yield constant real return plus possible capital gain or loss. Their attractiveness depend on inflation, dividend yield and risk, all of which influence how much money people want to hold in their overall portfolio. So physically goods ደግሞ ካየን physically goods are similar to equity, the only difference being that the annual stream they yield is in kind rather than in money. physically goods as asset የሚባሉት example land, house, machinery, gold, commodity, durable consumer good ሊሆን ይችላል። like equity, they represent really claim but their return is in kind or use of house, service from a car, consumption from stored grain, not a monetary follow of the dividends. okay, in kind የሚባለው use of house ለምሳሌ ቤት ካለ ቤቱን ለምንድን ነው የምትጠቀመው? ለማደር አይደለ? ማደሩ ነው in kind የሚባለው use of kind። service from car ለምሳሌ የቤት መኪና ካለ የምትጠቀመው ለምንድን ነው? for service ነው አይደለ? so in kind የሚባለው እንደዚህ አይነት ነገር for consumption from stored grain ለምሳሌ ከዘራኸው ለኮንሰፕሽን የምትጠቀም ከሆነ ማለት ነው። not a monetary follow of dividend. If we suppose that P apples equal to the value of this physical good, then The nominal rate of return on them can be approximated as 1 over P or dP over dt. So nominal return on physical good, since their value is tied to the generally price level P, change in P represent their yield in nominal return. ዋጋቸው ከጠቅላላ የዋጋ ደረጃ or ከP ጋር የተገናኘ ስለሆነ nominal return ይለዋወጣል ማለት ነው። This is the nominal rate of return on physically good can be approximated by RG equals to 1P over dP term dt. So if price rise or inflation, value of physically good rises in money term, በዛ ጊዜ positive capital gain አለ። Goods act as an inflation hedge. If price fall or deflation, value of physically good fall in money term, በዛ ጊዜ capital loss ነው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ when people expect high inflation, holding physically good become attractive compared to holding money, which loses value ማለት ነው። When people expect stable or falling price, money is more attractive than goods ማለት ነው። In summer, physically good are like equity in that they provide really stream of return, but in kind rather than in monetary form. Okay, their nominally return equals the rate of inflation, making them an important substitute for money in inflationary period. Okay, አሁን ደግሞ አምስተኛ የነበረው human wealth። Human wealth is discounted value of the expected stream of earned income. የሚጠበቀው ኢንከም የገቢ ፍሰት ዋጋ ይቀንሰዋል ይላል። Human wealth, the discounted percentage value of the expected stream of labor income or wage, salary, professional earning. ከስራ የሚጠበቀው የገቢ የጅራት or ደሞዝ ሙያዊ ገቢ ምናምን ይቀንሳል። Unlike financial asset, money, bond, equity or goods, human wealth cannot be freely traded in market. ቆይ ግን ምንድነው እሱ? ምንድነው human wealth? ምንድነው እያለ ያለ? Definition of human wealth ካየን human wealth is the present value of all expected future labor income that an individual can earn over their lifetime. Human wealth የሚያመለክተው አንድ ሰው በህይወት ዘመኑ ሁሉ ካለው ችሎታውን ወይም ጉልበትን ተጠቅሞ ሊያገኘው የሚችል የወደፊት ገቢ በአሁኑ ዋጋ ሲገመት ማለት ነው። Okay? Human wealth is the present value of all expected future labor income that an individual can earn over their lifetime. Human wealth የሚያመለክተው አንድ ሰው በህይወት ዘመኑ ሁሉ ካለው ችሎታ ወይም ጉልበትን ተጠቅሞ ሊያገኘው የሚችል የወደፊት ገቢ በአሁኑ ዋጋ ሲገመት ማለት ነው። በደንብ ተከታተሉኝ ግልጽ እንደሆነላችሁ። It represents the monetary worth of person human capital. Essentially, it is the portion of person total wealth that comes from their ability to work and earn. ይሄ የሚያመለክተው የአንድ ግለሰብ አጠቃላይ ሀብት ክፍል ከመስራትና ገቢ የማመንጨት አቅማቸው ተጠቅሞ ያገኘ ነው። Key characters: intangible but valuable. It cannot be physical, owned or traded like bond or land, but it has clearly economic value. Discounted percent value. ሌላ ደግሞ ከካራክተሮቹ ሌላው ደግሞ discounted percent value. Future income stream are discounted to their present value using an appropriate interest rate to reflect time presence. የወደፊት የገቢ ምንጮች የጊዜ ምርጫን ግምት ውስጥ በማስገባት ተስማሚ የወለድ ምጣኔን በመተግበር ወደ አሁኑ ዋጋቸው መቀየር የሚችሉ ናቸው። ምን አልኩ? የወደፊት የገቢ ምንጮች የጊዜ ምርጫን ግምት ውስጥ በማስገባት ተስማሚ የወለድ ምጣኔን በመተግበር ወደ አሁኑ ዋጋቸው መቀየር የሚችሉ ናቸው። በቀላሉ ከዚህ ጋር የሚቀራረብ አንድ ሐሳብ ልንገራችሁ። ሁማን ካፒታል ዋዝ ሁማን ካፒታል Human capital refers to the skill, knowledge, ability, health, and experience embodied in individual that generate future income stream. ሁማን ካፒታል የሚያመለክተው ለግለሰቦች ያላቸውን ክህሎት፣ እውቀት፣ ችሎታ፣ ጤናና ልምድ ሲሆን ይህም ለወደፊት ገቢ የማመንጨት አቅማቸው አስተዋጽኦ ያደርጋል። Let me give you some clear example. Education and skill. Doctors medical training, engineers technical expertise, or teachers subject knowledge. This allow the person to earn wage or professional fees in the future. አይደለ? ለአንድ ዶክተር ያለው ሜዲካል ትሬኒንግ allow doctor to earn wage or professional fees in the future አይደለ? ለቲቸር ያለው ለአንድ ሳብጀክት ያለው knowledge allow the teacher to earn wage in the future አይደለ? So work experience ካየን a software developer with 10 years of coding experience is more productive and valuable than a beginner. The accumulated now how a rises expected lifetime income. የተጠራቀመው ዕውቀት የሚጠበቀው የህይወት ዘመን ገቢ ይጨምራል ማለት ነው። So health and physical ability ካየን ደግሞ an athlete fitness or workers good health contribute to their earning potential. የአንድ አትሌት የአካል ብቃት ወይም የሰራተኛ አጠቃላይ ጤና ምን ያህል ገቢ ማግኘት እንደሚችሉ ለመወሰን ሚና ይጫወታል። Poor health reduce human capital because it limits productivity አይደለ? ታማሚ ከሆነ ግን የጤና ችግር ምርታማነትን ስለሚገደብ የሰው ካፒታልን ይቀንሳል ማለት ነው። ኦኬ ኢንተርፕሪነሪያል ታለንት a business founder creativity and managerial skill can generate future income through profit አይደለ? አንድ ሰው ኢንተርፕሪነሪያል ታለንት ካለው አንድ ማናጀሪ ከሆነ business founder creativity and managerial skill can generate future income through profit generate ማድረግ ይችላል። So generally human capital refers the skill, knowledge, experience and ability embodied in person that enable them to earn income in the future. አሁን ስሙኝ። human wealth ደግሞ refers to the monetary value of human capital. ባጭሩ ምን ማለት ነው? የሰው ካፒታል በገንዘብ ሲተመን ማለት ነው። አገኛችሁን? እነዚህ ላይ ቆጠርኳቸው ምንድነው ያልኩት? ሁማን ካፒታል አልኩ አይደለ? ስኪልን፣ ናውሌጅን፣ ኤክስፒሪየንስን፣ አቢሊቲን ሁማን ካፒታል አልኩ አይደለ? እነዚህ ሁማን ካፒታሎች በገንዘብ ሲተመን ደግሞ ሁማን ዌልዝ ማለት ነው። Human wealth refers to the monetary value of human capital ማለት ነው ባጭሩ። So human wealth is the economic valuation of human capital. How much income it represents in monetary term. በገንዘብ ረገድ ምን ያህል ገቢ ይወክላል የሚለውን ሲታሰብ human wealth ይባላል። So additionally key difference ልስጣችሁ። definition ካየን human capital is skill, ability and potential to earn capital ሲሆን human wealth ከሆነ ደግሞ monetary value of future income from human capital. Okay, monetary value of future income from human capital. natureን ካየን human capital qualitative intangible. human wealth ካየን ደግሞ quantitative measurable in money. Okay, example in doctor ወይ human capital ዶክተር ሜዲካል ትሬኒንግ የዶክተር የህክምና ስልጠና human capital ካለን human wealth ደግሞ percent value of expected lifetime earning from practicing medicine በህክምና ውስጥ ካለው ሙያ የሚጠበቀው የህይወት ዘመን ገቢ በአሁኑ ዋጋ ሲገመት ማለት ነው። Okay, in the summary, human capital is the resource or skill or ability. Human wealth is also the value of that resource in monetary term. Okay, እንደዛ ማለት ነው። So since the market of human capital is a limited one, it is very difficult to define in market price the term of substitution of human capital for other form of capital. Human capital is tied to the individual. It cannot be easily converted into money. Okay, mention human capital. Hence, its market price is difficult to define compared with bond or equity. Okay, Friedman added to his formulation a term H, which represented the ratio of human to non-human wealth. የፍሬድማን አጻጻፍ ውስጥ የሰው ሀብት መጠን ከሰው ልጅ ካልሆኑ ሀብቶች ጋር ሲነጻጸር የሚያመለክተው ተርም ኤች ብሎ ከቶ ነበር። Friedman introduced a variable H representing the ratio of human to non-human wealth. Here reasoned that if a person had more of his permanent income coming from labor income and this from his human capital, he could be less liquid than if he was receiving his income from financial asset. አንድ ግለሰብ ከቋሚ ገቢ ውስጥ ትልቁን ድርሻ ከላበር ገቢ የሚያገኝ ከሆነ ሁማን ካፒታል ላይ የተመሰረተ ከሆነ ገቢው ከፋይናንሻል ንብረቶች ከሚያገኘው ሰው ጋር ሲነጻጸር ሌስ ሊኩዊዲቲ አለው ሲል ደምድሟል። ምክንያቱም ፋይናንሻሊ አሴት ሞር ሊኩዊድ ስለሆነ ነው ሁማን ካፒታል ሌስ ሊኩዊድ የሆነው። If most of person permanent income comes from human capital or labor income, they are less liquid since which cannot be instantly converted into spendable cash. Okay, therefore such individuals may prefer to hold more money or the most liquid asset for flexibility. In this case, the person may want to hold more money because it is more liquid asset than the alternative. This H term plays no essential role in the Friedman theory, and this it is ignored from the money demand function. ይህ የኤች ተርም በፍሬድማን ንድፈ ሐሳብ ውስጥ ምንም አስፈላጊ ሚና አይጫወትም እና ስለዚህ ከገንዘብ ፍላጎት ተግባር የተገለለ ነው ማለት ነው። He concluded that it played no essential role in the practical money demand function. This in most formulation H is omitted. So people with high human capital or income mainly from labor are more likely to demand highly balance for liquidity reason. But since it is hard to measure or substitute directly, modern money demand theory often ignores human wealth as distinct factor in the empirical function. So now we have the complete 5 broad forms of wealth in Friedman modern money demand theory: money, bond, equity, physical good or real estate, and human wealth. So to generalize modern theory of money demand, classical theory treated money only as medium of exchange. Keynes introduced speculative and precautionary motive, emphasizing the role of interest rate. In summary, the modern theory of money demand combines Friedman's stable, wealth-based approach with refinement from Tobin or portfolio diversification and Baumol or transaction cost model. It rejects the idea that interest rate alone drive money demand and instead view it as a stable, predictable function of wealth, return, risk, and transaction need. So guys, this is last portion from chapter 3. ከዚህ ቀጥለን chapter 4 የምንቀጥል ይሆናል። የማይቻችሁ ሰብስክራይብ፣ ላይክ፣ ሼር ማድረጋችሁን ቼክ አድርጉ።